Okay, so we got some more YouTube questions. Creep426 asks, "Hi Mark, what club should I hit down on and when? Also, how big should my divots be? Should I hit down on all my clubs when I'm in the fairway and hit up on all my clubs when the ball is teed up? Should my divots be small in dry conditions and big in wet?" Well, let's get out there and answer this question. So divots, you should be taking divots with your irons. You want to be trying to take your divot in front of the ball. Lots of people think you should be taking your divot before the ball. Completely wrong. You're going to hit the ground, disperse all that energy into the ground. You want to get all the energy you can onto the ball. Divot second is to do with how you're moving through the ball. Now, which club should you be taking divots with and which ones you shouldn't be taking divots with? Basically, you want to think of your divots in relationship to your ball position. It's the ball position changing, so moving forwards or backwards, that is going to change the angle of attack into the ball, and that will change the deepness and the kind of divot you take. So for instance, if I've got a pitching wedge in my hand here, if I play it from the middle of my stance, try and hit a kind of medium to full pitching wedge, what will happen as I hit a shot, I take a scrape, I take a divot, depending on how much kind of spin I'm trying to put on it, depending on if I'm doing a kind of fancy shot, but if you're playing a regular stock standard shot, wedge from the ground, you're going to take a divot when the ball's in the middle of your feet, and hopefully you can just see that the divot's in front of the ball. If I move all the way up then to my 4-iron here, what happens is the ball position for me is moved just inside my left heel, so an inch and a half in front of my left heel. Now what happens is I'm not really going to be taking much of a divot on this club. Because I've moved the ball forwards, I'm going to be getting the ball slightly more on the upswing, to the level to the upswing with this kind of ball position. And what that means, I hit this one. If I'm hitting that way, I'm still taking a bit of a scrape, but it's barely impacting into the turf. It's more off the top of the grass. And that's ball position based. So if I move all the way up to my 3-wood, where I'm going to go and dump the ball right on my left heel, this one now, really picking that off the top, so no real scrapes to the ground there at all, because I've got that ball further forward, so I'm hitting it more on the upswing. So divots, you want to think about your divot in relationship to the ball position. If I play a wedge, well actually let's say I play a 7-iron here from the back of my stance. So let's say I'm going to hit a low shot, British Open style, under the wing kind of punch shot, stinger shot. What will happen now, because that ball is further back in my stance, the angle of attack is going to get greater, so my divot is going to be deeper. So the ball's sent out low, more turf is moved, and that divot has become much deeper. So your divots have got to be related to your ball position. You want them in front of the ball, so ball first, divot second. And also your divots, if you're hitting the ball well, should be relatively shallow, even and shallow. You don't want too big a thick chunks. Now, also you're asking the question if it's dry or wet. When it's dry, what happens is the ground tends to get barer, and the divot maybe won't be so deep. When it's wet, it's much easier to get a bit of dig after the club. But it shouldn't be massively noticeable. The only place you'll really notice it is if you've got the ball back in your stance, you're hitting down on it. Ground's wet, you can take some big old chunks, where if it's dry, the club will bounce out of the turf a little bit more. But divots, first thing, in front of the ball first, divot second. Second thing, your divot should be related more to your ball position. Moving forward, less of a divot. Ball in the middle of your stance to back, you'll get more of a divot. And you want your divots to be relatively even, so shallow and even all throughout. So from the moment it enters to where it comes out, it should be relatively the same. Hope that helps, hope that gives you an idea of your divots. Thanks for watching, thanks for the question, and we'll see you in the next video.